AITA for not celebrating my birthday with my wife after she cancelled our honeymoon this year for her solo trip to Europe. My wife 32F and I 33M got married a couple of months ago, and my wife went on a solo trip to Europe. She always wanted to do a solo trip but never had the time because of work. However, she used our honeymoon time for her solo trip. I wanted to accompany her on her trip, but she said she needed this for her mental health. I ultimately agreed, even though I was sad about it. She thanked me many times for being understanding. I tried not to think too much about it because I was really excited about our wedding. The wedding was great, and my wife left for her trip to Europe the next day. I really missed her, and it affected my mental health. My wife came back home on my birthday last Thursday, but I was out of town celebrating it with my sibling 31F. When my wife texted me asking where I was, I told her I would come back on the weekend. I couldn't help but reminisce about the first time I met her, standing across the room at a mutual friend's party. Her laughter was infectious, her eyes sparkling with mischief. It was an instant connection, one that I couldn't ignore. As we strolled hand in hand through the park, the autumn leaves crunching beneath our feet, I couldn't help but marvel at how lucky I was to have her by my side. Our early dates were filled with laughter, shared dreams, and stolen kisses. It was a time of pure bliss, one that I cherished deeply. Despite my initial agreement, the solitude of her absence weighed heavily on me. I wrestled with conflicting emotions of longing for her company and wanting her to find peace and fulfillment on her journey. During her trip, I found solace in the companionship of my sister, who offered unwavering support and distraction from my loneliness. Her presence provided a temporary escape from the emptiness left by my wife's absence. I came back home on Sunday feeling extremely happy, but my wife said she wished she could have celebrated my birthday with me because she had planned something special. I told her I definitely would from next year, but this year, I needed to celebrate it with someone else for my mental health. Reflecting on our relationship, I realized the importance of open communication and understanding. While my wife sought solace in solitude, I learned to prioritize my mental well-being and seek support from loved ones during challenging times. In the days following my return, my wife and I engaged in heartfelt conversations, addressing the impact of our choices on each other's emotions. Through mutual understanding and forgiveness, we reaffirmed our commitment to each other, vowing to prioritize our relationship and cherish every moment together. Was I the Edit. I think people are misunderstanding what I have asked. I did not ask if my wife was wrong in taking the trip. I asked if I was wrong not to celebrate my birthday with her. My wife did go on a solo trip, and we were in constant contact. She had a blast there and had a lot of fun. We FaceTimed each other every night. However, I did miss her badly, and I am thankful my sister got me out of my funk. In the process, I sort of ghosted my wife. I sent only a couple of texts when she landed home and when she wished me a happy birthday. I barely responded to her texts the next few days and did not pick up any of her calls until I got back home on Sunday. Ever since I've come home, she has been feeling a bit down, and I am feeling a bit guilty about it. Story 2. AITA for leaving my ex at the side of the road after she confessed to cheating. We'd been together for 3 years, and our plan was to move in together when she finished school this year. We had a routine. After I finished work, we'd grab some food and head to a spot in the woods overlooking a river, where we'd talk about our day and eat our food. We did this about twice a week. It's about a 20-minute drive from her place and about a 2-hour walk through the woods. I couldn't help but reminisce about the countless evenings we spent discussing our future together. We'd meticulously plan our finances, discussing how we'd split rent, utilities, and other expenses once we moved in together. Our shared dream of financial independence motivated us to work hard and support each other's career goals. Her confession hit me like a ton of bricks, shattering the future we had meticulously planned together. I struggled to process the betrayal, torn between my love for her and the overwhelming sense of hurt and anger. Questions about our shared finances and career aspirations clouded my thoughts, adding to the emotional turmoil. Unable to bear the weight of my emotions alone, I reached out to close friends and family for support. They listened patiently as I poured out my heartache and fears about the future. Their words of encouragement and solidarity provided a glimmer of hope amidst the darkness of betrayal. As we sat in the car, the weight of her confession hung heavy in the air. The once familiar scenery blurred as I grappled with the reality of her infidelity. She said it had happened multiple times, it was a drunk mistake, she didn't mean it, etc. She went through all the tropes, and honestly, I sort of zoned out as I instantly lost all respect and love for her. I don't know how long she talked for, maybe 10 minutes, and she grabbed my hands a few times. Thoughts of our shared finances and career plans gnawed at the edges of my mind. The prospect of entangling our intertwined financial affairs loomed dauntingly ahead. How would we split the rent deposit we had saved up for our future apartment? What about the joint savings account we had opened for our dream vacation? As I drove home, the reality of starting anew sank in. I knew I had to reassess my financial goals and priorities to regain a sense of stability and independence. Despite the uncertainty ahead, I resolved to channel my energy into advancing my career and building a solid financial foundation for myself. I drove home, blocked her on everything, and have just been dealing with everything my way. A few of her friends texted me with some insults and such. One said I should be ashamed as it took her 3 hours to walk home and it wasn't safe. It was a warm evening, the sun didn't set until 10 p.m., and I left around 6 p.m. She could have called someone to pick her up.